this session is being discussed much about ISO 55000 series, that is basically the asset management systems, and on the ISO 50003 2017. Now we'll just discuss at length of what is to be coming up next. We have already discussed this in the earlier, I'm just repeating this. If you can remember, we said we also need to look into ISO 55000 2014 version, where when we talk about asset management. Now, basically, we had also discussed about various tools, and the most important part of it was the data that is required to take off. Basically, looking into the experience of mine, what I see is ISO 55001 or the 55000 series also gets linked to the basic standards, that is the ISO 9001, 14001, 45001, 50001, or even the 27001. Many of the standards wherein we talk about technical aspects are mostly linked to 55001, considering various data that one needs to have. Now, just to the synergy that exists between all these standards is because there are some common requirements and approaches. This standard emphasizes that what is to be done and what is not to be done. And 55001 is, or you can say the 50001 or the 14001, are not just the standalone standards. Now, just to understand the synergy, we will just see what is that we have in common. See, 55001 basically aims to add value to an organization. The general areas in which asset management systems benefit us are improved financial performances, informed asset investment decision, managed risk, improved services and outputs, demonstrated social responsibility, compliance, enhanced reputation, organizational sustainability improvement, and the most important, on which we are now talking about, is improved efficiency and effectiveness. Now, just as I said earlier, asset management system does not just focus on the asset itself, but on the value that the asset can provide to the organization. So here we would be referring this standard as to how it contributes to the ISO 50001 compliance and what role the management, that is the auditee organization, and we as energy auditors or the ISO 50001 lead auditors have got to keep up for the good practices and standard compliances. The important part is effective data management, which results into better data quality, that is a ready referencer as and when it is required on site, improved service quality, greater responsiveness to change, cost savings, improvements in cooperative working, coordinated service provisions across organizations, employees better equipped to take decisions, faster and more cost-effective system development. Now, as before we proceed, I would request, rather I would go look into the spot poll just to collect certain opinion from you. So what I would be asking from you is, instead of just going into some basic, generalized or preconceived ideas, I would seek generalize our discussion on ISO 55001 and understand as to what sector we can take up. See, I have just requested, I have listed few of the rooms, the sectors: tool room industry, process industry with intensive thermal energy use, process industry with intensive electrical energy use, industry with prominent primary energy use, that is diesel, FO, gases, etc., and commercial buildings and hospitals wherein system has got in-house utility operations. Now, after the poll, we will just consider, we'll try to address the maximum whichever sector scores the maximum, we will take up that particular sector to discuss on ISO 55001 asset management part. And we just starting the poll here, request everybody to just choose your option. I think it is available now. Oh. Again, certain issues. Okay, I'll just add the poll. I think you can see 1 to 5. 1 is tool room industry, 2 is process industry, 3 is process industry with electrical energy use, 4 is industry with prominent primary, 5 is commercial buildings and hospitals. Just to cut short the time, again, in fact, the pre-loaded poll has disappeared. What I am doing now is quick uploading spot survey. Choose 1 to 5. Kindly select your option, first or second, whatever you wish to, you can just do it. And then choose the option 1 to 5. I'm right now giving it to you. Please. Kindly choose the option 1 to 5. 1 is tool room industry, 2 is process industry, 3 is process industry, sorry, for 2 is process industry with thermal use, 3 is process industry with electrical use, 4 is industry with using diesel, FO, gaseous fuel, etc., and 5 is commercial buildings. What I see here is that people are changing again. Okay. Nobody is here on the shop floor with tool room industry as a backing, and okay, I think 2 and 3 are going neck to neck, 40% each. 4 is 6%, 5 is 13%. So what I would do is, we will take process industry as a whole, because I think people are getting confused as to which one to opt for. Process industry with electrical and thermal. Okay, so I would just discuss at length with few examples as to how this would be going ahead. See, in the process industry with electrical and thermal, since both are going equal, I will just discuss, because process industry is process industry. There are certain cases where first I'll discuss the thermal and then I'll move on to the electrical part. See, in the process industry, people have been saying that the process requirement keeps varying because the thermal energy input, even when the production is not in progress, to keep the bare minimum systems working, they need to keep pumping in, and it becomes very difficult for them to maintain the records as to how the fuel is being consumed and what would be the net productivity rate. So what basically the ISO 55001 specifies is working on specific energy consumption and improvising on those aspects. Now, when it comes to question of data management, and when the plant has to operate under no production time slots, now it becomes very difficult to define what a specific energy consumption. And just to specify, what would be more important is basically whenever there is no breakdown or whenever the plant is operating in its normal conditions, I think we can generalize energy input or energy consumed, fuel consumed with respect to thermal energy and the productivity. Because I believe many of the times, I mean, the plant would not be shut down or would not be working on no load, no production basis for long hours. There could be small hiccups here and there, but by and large, there would be certain variation, but we can certainly define specific energy consumption whenever there is a uninterrupted production. Now, same is the case with respect to electrical energy use. Now, the next part of it is the calorific value of the fuel that is being used for the thermal energy keeps varying. Sometimes the lot comes up with a 10,000 kilocalories, or it can even be 10,500 or 10,250 or whatever it is. So there, it becomes very difficult for them to define the energy, specific energy consumed per unit of productivity. So here we would have to take a long-term average to define the systems. In case of electrical energy use, people have been saying because of the variable load conditions, the energy consumption in terms of kilowatt per unit of productivity keeps varying. So again, coming on to the same part, we'll have to take an average and then try to work on it. Typical energy, discussions with respect to these two process industries, since both have defined anyway, it becomes very difficult, just as everybody said, maintaining specific energy consumption data on these aspects. But by and large, I think we will need to generalize these specific energy consumption parameters. Now, coming to 55,001 specific, the motor, if it is an electrical energy consumption, what we need to understand is what is the electrical load, where it has been modified, how it has been modified, and in case of fuel consumption, what is the situation of the burner? Is there any change in the air blowers? Is there any change in the heat exchangers? Any modifications done? If it is done, when has it been executed? What major changes have been brought in? So all those records will need to be maintained, and that comes basically under the 55,000 standards. Now, as the days we age by, we find that the life of the system deteriorates. I mean, the equipment deteriorates. Now, to define that, I think there are preset or predefined standards that the system would need to be incorporated. Here, the original equipment manufacturer will have specified what these standards are, what these, I mean, the life of the equipment, under what conditions, how the system would be performing. So we need to consider all those issues to define or to maintain those. Now, these basic requirements would help us in basically defining the specific energy consumption of whatever the end product is. Now, here, like I said, there are some preconceived ideas. The process industry might be probably going under various issues. They may say, for example, if it is an FO, so maintaining of FO is a difficult task. Yes. Now, if it is coal fired, people might say there are too many issues with respect to coal, because it might, you can't expect 100% control over the use of coal. Now, here is an example where I'm trying to show you. Probably everybody would be able to see this photo. If you can see this, I don't think you will be able to say this is any process oriented. You can see the chimneys at the back. If you can see this, you can see the chimney 1, 2, 3 on the left top corner. You can see white smoke. Basically, the sorry, it's not a chimney, a cooling tower. Say part of it. Now, this is basically an example where one can work on the asset management part. The records have been so well maintained. The update of the equipment has been so well done. There are equipments which have been working here in this particular slide, in this part. You can see on the left hand side, you have two numbers of 350 megawatt coal-fired thermal power station. Next to that, you have two numbers of 650 megawatt. And of course, in between you have, but you are not able to see. And the last one that you see, the prominent one, next to the white, is a 1250 megawatt power generation station. Now, if you can see this, I don't think anybody would be able to say that this entire set of bunch of power generating units are coal-fired. Just to bring home the point, you can see RWE. This is a plant in Cologne, Germany, where I happened to visit this way back in 2013. And the tower, the major where you read RWE, is basically the place where I had gone up to the last point. The next one that shows, you can see me there standing at 162 meters. That is the maximum level where I can go up using the elevator. From here on up to 183 meters, that is the next 21 meters, I need to climb up. You can see me wearing white shirt, and the power station is basically fired by coal. And if you can understand the significance of the asset management, how well it has been managed, how it is only because of the maintaining various records, attending to every small, tiny job on the site, so that not even a small particle of pulverized coal is seen floating around in the entire premises. So the next example which I would like to go is, of course, not with respect to any process industry, with a mindset. See, if the thermal power plant is able to maintain strict, clean working environment, I don't think we can even find this in a hospital or even an IT industry as clean as this. Now, if these people have been able to maintain it, it is only because of the mindset. They know if they can maintain their records upright, maintenance can obviously be upright. Every tiny particle, every tiny issue has been well addressed, and that is the reason why we are able to see this. It is just the mindset which I'm trying to draw home here. And the next one that you see here is a photo from the Chinese market. You can see that all the vehicles are battery driven. Whereas in India, we fail to see takeoff of battery driven two-wheelers, but here every two-wheeler is battery driven. I could hardly see any of the petrol fired two-wheelers there on the road. And the next slide that you see here is a quick clean drain line. If the drainage line is very clear, yeah. See, now we are able to see the drainage line. Now, drainage line is very clean. It's just gray water that you see. There is nothing, no spillage as such. Unlike our conditions, these drainage lines are good to do. Now, here again, the inventory, the what you call the behavioral approach is very clear, and everybody is aware that they need to contribute for the upkeep of their utility systems. Now, I just drew home the point on the significance of what every individual, maybe a person working in a plant, or maybe a person who benefits from the operations in the plant, needs to work upon. This is just a point. Of course, the next two slides have got nothing to do with the process industry or with any industry, but the mindset here is quite important in this. Now, coming to the other part of it, that is the ISO 50003. It's basically talking about requirements for bodies providing audit and certification of energy management systems. Now, before we address this, let's see what or how does the new ISO 50003 standard, or what actually it means for companies. The ISO 50003 standard came into effect in September 2017. The standard addressed auditors and certifiers both, but it has an immediate impact on all companies regarding initial and recertification according to ISO 50001. So this standard has got a major say in 2018, unlike 2011 version. Now, it states that the improvement of the energy related performance must be demonstrated. Now, this is a very prominent part of it. Just to elaborate further, it means that you must provide possible proof that your company has improved, or the company where we are working has improved its energy performance. Now, this proof can, for example, take the form of an energy consumption report or key figures. Now, if you can just read this example, energy consumption per part produced. It is just an example, he says, but later on, companies must therefore be able to link the production quantities with the required energy quantities. And in future, after the first certification, in future, the energy consumption of individual machines will also have to be recorded. Now, when we talk about individual machines, that means every stage in a process industry, energy consumption and the productivity will need to be recorded. The sole objective of this is, the advantage for the companies is that the production errors can be detected and eliminated at an early stage. very quickly when handling energy. Now, the significance is if at the first stage, if at the first step of the process, if there is a marginal error, it can magnify itself to be predominantly dominating over the entire process efficiency. So it is important that we understand the efficiency level at the first part and then continue with the monitoring system and improvising so that rest of the systems are set on track. Continuing, one focus of the standard is on data quality. Adequacy, accuracy, validation, reliability, completeness are few of the areas where they have insisted upon, and identification and arrangement of exceptions and gaps. In order to fulfill these points, companies require appropriate measurement technology and software for recording all relevant energy data. Now, I am not here to advocate for any specific software. No, this data is basically needed, and data analytics and the energy performance indicators need to be evaluated and then certain remedial measures adopted. In the entire process, you can see that the energy auditor or the energy manager has got a major role to play in this entire 50,003 series. In the earlier 50,002, we had specified as to how an energy auditor would contribute. And if you can see the 50,003 again, it is again the role of the energy auditor here or the energy manager as such, wherein he plays a prominent role in complying to ISO 50003 standards. So it is important that we understand that our upkeep or the knowledge that we have gained is continually improved upon. The technical areas have been very clearly defined. The organizations will need to assign. The auditor must be able to demonstrate respective skills for the respective technical areas. And under such circumstances, this could result in the need for some companies to change auditors as well. Suppose if I am doing an energy audit of an area, as a 50,001, I might chip in. But if I do not have the expertise in processing, say, I would say textile industry. If I have not done any audit in a textile industry, then probably it is necessary that a person, an energy auditor or a person who is well versed with understanding the textile process, he chips in or comes in into the system and then clarifies certain areas. Compliance to 50,001 is one part, but understanding the technical aspects is other. So it is important that we understand the technical aspects of the entire series. Now it also says, and considering the process involved, it says we need to define the time frame, because process is it can be taking months together, or it can be few minutes, or it can be hours together, other hours as well. Depending on the case, it is necessary that the system define the time period for completion of the audit period. For completion of the ISO 50001 audit. We cannot keep things going for days together. We cannot even conclude by taking few samples over a few minutes and then saying, okay, it is approved or not approved. Every data that has to be considered is based on the life cycle of the process industry. So it is very specific that the period is well defined. The other important part, of course, this has already been there. We have been discussing quite a number of times. Important change with regard to certification is that organizations must clearly present the energy performance at all initial certification and recertification processes. Earlier, we had said if an industry wants to choose only a compressor as a key performer, key energy consumer, and that it has to be approved for ISO 50001, yes. But in case, if it is referred to ISO 50003, it says clearly present the energy performance at all initial certification and rectification processes in order to be awarded a certificate. That means now companies will no longer stand to get the certificate saying, okay, only my in the last session, as we discussed, yes, compressor alone can be certified. But here, if you refer to 50003 and if the compressor is being used for some process or in a tool room industry or for any industry, see, compressor doesn't simply use, you don't need to use a compressed air for some silly operations. It needs to support certain mechanism. So here again, the auditee will need to assess, will need to maintain the records and then say, okay, this compressed air is being used for so and so operations, and he has to necessarily define what those energy consuming equipments are. Now, these are some of the key elements of what ISO 50001, 50003 covers. Of course, since the original equipment, the file is not available with me, I have not circulated this to you. You can refer these PPT, the handouts that you would be getting at the end of the session. Maybe I think there is a time slot there. You need to wait for some time. So end of it, you will certainly be getting this. And anyway, we'll also be sending you, if you're a member of ISO 50001 discussion forum, yes, you would be getting it on the WhatsApp. In case you are not a member, kindly subscribe to the number. Send me a message on my mobile number 94490333505. I'll send you a link and you can kindly join. As a policy, we don't add any members by ourselves. Everybody is sent a link so that they can join by themselves, because this is basically a knowledge sharing session and we are not looking for numbers. We are looking for quality audience and quality participation. So kindly note this number 94490333505. If any of you are not a member of the WhatsApp group, kindly send me a link. Ping, I'll just send you the link there. Now, before I can complete, I really have to express my helplessness. We lost a good amount of 40 minutes of the time, and I had to rush through to make sure that we close the session well in time. Of course, I must have skipped some of it, and I must have taken some shortcuts. I'll try to make it up in the subsequent standards, ISO 50004, that will be coming up next. Now, before that, ASHRAE Chandigarh chapter is hosting a presentation of mine again. Now, I'm telling you this particular thing in this webinar, in this session. I also said the same in the earlier version, session 1, and session 2, I'm repeating again. Know my workspace environment. faulty air circulation in healthcare centrally air conditioned complexes is in general. Basically, this session would be talking more specific to healthcare centralized mall, but I would also be touching upon the workspace environment in a process industry as well as part of the session. Because if I don't touch upon the process industry, then probably the centralized air conditioned working offices in a process industry may not be doing justice. So I will be touching upon that part as well. So I would request every one of you to just kindly subscribe to this. And of course, since it is going to be publicized through ASHRAE Chandigarh chapter, and it should be probably through GoToWebinar and not here as we had taken, because 14 days of our trial period comes to an end. We would be now checking the other platforms. I have already discussed in the last session, and you would be getting a flyer also. I mean, you would be getting a slide of this in the next part. Now, just as I said, we have already completed ISO 50002 and 50003. Now, the next session would be on ISO 50004, that is guidance for implementation, maintenance, and improvement of an energy management system. Now, we would be taking some extra time to host this because we are going in for a change in the service provider. So kindly just hold on to us. If in case I can't come back to you in the next week, and as it is, there's already a session being organized, maybe next to next or in between, as per the survey in the WhatsApp group, you would again take up this 50004 series. Now, I would be open to ask, you are open to ask me a question or raise your hands, or let me see if there are any. Okay, somebody said GoToMeetings can also be tried. Yes, we are trying 2 of the sessions on GoToMeetings as well. Specific energy consumption also depends on the season. Yes, no, these are some of the issues which one needs to consider and then address. But then, like I said, it is per batch basis, per day, per month, or per cycle of a process industry, and then per season, and the season repeats by itself. So that is the reason why it says at the end of the year, we need to specify the specific energy consumption parameters, and you can be very selective in saying, okay, specific energy consumption for day batch is this, specific energy consumption for a evening batch is shift 2 is this, and shift 3 is so and so. And the best known performances can be your own benchmarks. And the key idea is to improve upon those benchmarked parameters. Now, just as I said, shift 1, 2, 3, you can also say season 1, 2, 3, 4. As per your process, you can define that. Ultimately, the goal is to see that you start working on the energy savings part of it. Process industry with electric. Okay, this is with respect to the survey. People have typed here. Lakshmi Kant. Okay, this is a survey response. So basically, many people have been saying the same part. I'm sorry, the issue has been with respect to the relay today. Maybe there must be something wrong from our side or something else. So with this, I think I will be ending the session. If there is anyone trying to ask questions, I think you can raise the voice.